Hello and welcome to News and React. So, 2024 is being referred to as the year of the elections. What's happening with that? So, more than 65 countries have elections this year, countries in Africa, Asia, Europe, the United States, and that's almost half of the world that has elections this year. That's alarming. Almost half of the world has elections coming up this year, and that's history being made. We've never had that many countries have elections all in the same year, ever in history. But why? Why do so many countries have elections this year? I think it's to analyze the democratic order. I think it's to try and see if democracy has anything to do with the decline of our society. There's no doubt about it that the world has definitely met a decline. Everything is just going downhill. So one can't help but wonder, is it all the systems that have been put in place? Is there something that's happening in society, something global, a more global issue that is the reason why the world is facing such a decline in culture, in politics, everything? And I think that's exactly what this year is about. I think that's why it's the year of the elections. I think it's to try and analyze the democratic order and figure out if democracy is the reason for the decline of our world. Very few countries were democratic in the past. South Africa itself has only been democratic for 30 years. That's not a long time at all. The fact that a 30-something-year-old can look back and remember a time in their life where they were a part of the apartheid era is crazy. So even South Africa hasn't been democratic for that long, and that's the story of so many countries. Some countries have only been democratic for 13 years, some 15, some 20. South Africa's only been there for 30 years. So you can't help but wonder. You can't help but wonder and look at the functioning of these countries and wonder if democracy is where it all went wrong. If you look at South Africa itself, without even referencing any other country, if you look at South Africa itself, there's been a decline in everything since the apartheid era ended. And of course, it has its perks. There are good things. It's good that people are no longer oppressed. It's good that people can actually exist in harmony. But it definitely it gave birth to a lot of other dysfunctions, particularly in politics and service delivery and just the entire functioning of the country. So you can't help but wonder if democracy has something to do with the decline of society, the decline of our countries. So, the one good thing we get from the year of elections is that we get to celebrate how far we've come, how far the world has come in terms of independence and freedom and democracy. It's a noble thing when you realize that billions of people around the world will be exercising their right to vote this year, a right that many didn't really have that long ago. So it's good, it's beautiful to see how far we've come as the world, as a society, that we get to enjoy the freedom that so many people have had to die fighting for. So we've established that the elections will analyze the impacts of democracy. But then what? What happens when the people in power, the powers that be, what happens if they actually agree that democracy is the reason society has been declining? What happens then? These elections will have a global impact. This may be the year that the world takes many, many steps backwards. Will democracy even exist at the end of 2024? Let me know what you think. Well, that's it, my friends. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends and everybody else. And we'll see you next week.